Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the FIFA Flow podcast. Welcome to season 3, episode 28 of the podcast. Today, guys, is most likely gonna be the last podcast of season 3, the last podcast of season 3, guys. And yes, guys, today is Friday. Today was supposed to be World Cup or pre-World Cup talks part 2. If you guys want to go, make sure you go watch episode 1 of this. It was last week. I posted this last week. We featured Gareth on the channel, of course. So make sure you guys go watch this. We talked about the World Cup. And today we were supposed to do episode 2 of this. But guys, unfortunately, I had a very severe sickness, a severe flu from last Saturday till like even a bit right now. Like you guys can kind of maybe able to tell from my voice. I have a bit of runny nose. My throat hurts. Um, so yeah, sorry if this podcast is a bit different. Today's podcast will be a bit of a shorter podcast. We're gonna be talking about the weekend games. Not really like much I'm gonna talk about though. There's only like 3 games I really wanted to talk about, which is the Chelsea versus Newcastle game, Arsenal versus Wolves game, and of course the PSG game, ici c'est Paris. And then just take a look at the La Liga table as well as the League 1 and the Premier League table. On top of that, there was also some very huge Cristiano Ronaldo news going on, like with his interview with Piers Morgan. Of course, you guys already know he had an interview with Piers Morgan before. That wasn't really a serious one. That was just for fun. But this one was more of a serious, uncensored Ronaldo talking about Manchester United. So there's a lot of controversy going on with Ronaldo and Manchester United. Where I'm going to talk about that as well. And then I'm gonna do one. I know it's not the World Cup episode. I'm just gonna do like a quick overlook of the World Cup one more time. But tomorrow we're gonna look at it yet again. I'm hoping that tomorrow. I did ask my cousin and a friend if they wanted to come on the podcast, and they both have not responded yet. So I'm hoping like either those two, maybe if they don't respond soon enough, like I'll get someone else and another guest on the channel. But I'm hoping to get one more guest, a new guest, not so Gareth. I'm hoping to get a new guest on the podcast for tomorrow's second World Cup pre World Cup podcast episode, and then the World Cup starts on Sunday. So I'm very excited, guys. As I said, today will be a bit of a shorter video. I don't quite know how long, like 30, it could be like 30-ish minutes. So not like what we're used to in the past, like 1 hour and stuff. As I said, I'm sick, so it's a bit hard. And then there's not much like league episodes or leagues and like league news to talk about. So, like at least like I want to talk about. And as I said, I'm sick, so maybe that's an impact. Like like I'm kind of like tired and hard, but I'm still trying to like even though I'm tired, like not tired, but even though it's hard for me to speak, I'm still out here grinding, making the content for you guys. As I said, tomorrow though, we're for sure gonna be having a World Cup podcast episode, a pre-World Cup podcast episode, and then I'll also be announcing. Tomorrow I'll be posting the schedule. Either tomorrow or Sunday, I'll be posting the schedule of the World Cup, of the podcast for the World Cup. So I'm also gonna do. I'm most likely gonna do every 2 days or every 3 days. So there's about 4 or 8 games every day. So that's why I need to do it every like 2 or 3 days. Otherwise, there's gonna be 32 games, and if we wait for 7 days, there's gonna be 32 games we have to talk about, and it's gonna be crazy. Now, even if there's like 8 games, maybe they're not the best games, but we still want to go to like look over, do like an overview of them. So it's still gonna be a lot. But as I said, yeah, tomorrow we're gonna do the second pre-World Cup podcast episode, and then the World Cup actually starts. Today's still a season 3 episode, as is here, Qatar World Cup. Tomorrow will be another one of this one, and then from there on, it will all be in here. And then after the World Cup, we'll most likely go back to season 3, or maybe I'll do season 4 or something. But season 3 is essentially season 3 of the podcast is essentially 2022/23 part 1 football season, like the first half of the season, and then season 4 might be the second half. So yeah, as I said, I'm not quite sure yet. For now, as I said, today is the last podcast of season 3 on the podcast channel, and then we're gonna go to the World Cup. But as I said, not a long podcast. Let's get right into it. So let's start off with the Premier League, guys. As I said, not much info I wanted to talk about. Ending it off with the Premier League here, we had a few quite surprising games. So let's go ahead and start it off with this Newcastle game. One of my favorite games this weekend. I didn't get to watch the game. I watched the highlights though, and man, what a game this was. What a game. I gotta be honest. This was one of the best games this weekend. In terms of play style, I think for me, Newcastle, like, honestly, Newcastle, man, they're a really good team. And I've said this in the past where, oh, like, yes, in the beginning of the season, like, a team might be able to do good, but then, like, it's mainly the end of the season where are they able to. And I said Newcastle, they do good in the beginning, and then they might, like, end it off bad in the end. Now the thing is, when I watch this Newcastle game, I'm like, no ways that's possible. The way they're playing, they're gonna be able to carry on this this play style onto the next half of the season, because these guys play beautiful football. The new owners, they've done brilliant, bringing in players like this one guy. Who's this guy? This Paraguay guy, Almiron, guys. This guy is insane. Guermes, the Brazilian who got called up to the World Cup. This guy is literally one of the best midfielders. And Trippier, man, Trippier. This guy is crazy. This guy was dominating that back line. Honestly, these three players were crazy this game. So those were the three that stood out for me. Nick Pope, also one of the best keepers in the Prem, top 3 in the Prem this season for sure. Like, when you look at other keepers, I have to say top 3, maybe top 4. But man, yeah. Newcastle, it's not just like, oh, they won, that's like, yeah, they're good. Even when you look at their other games, they, like, what are they right now? They have the past 5 games in the Premier League, they have won. So that is just crazy to believe. 1 loss, 6 draws, and 8 wins. That's a pretty impressive like standing for sure. And as I said, like, it's not just about, oh, they beat Chelsea and stuff. As I said, they won their last 5 games in the Premier League. And this game itself, they played brilliant. Even the past games, they played really good. They had many attacking opportunities. 10 shots against 5, 3 shots on target against 2. The goal, let's talk about the goal here, because the way the lead up to the goal was just magisterial. Beautiful teamwork, passing it around the team. Starts off with Trippier winning a header in the air, going to Guermes, and Guermes doing kind of like a back kick, like over back behind him. It's a kind of like a over the top through ball to Almiron. Almiron making a run down the wing here, headers it to the left of Koulibaly, and then goes like a bit lower to header it a bit more to the ground to control. Runs across. Koulibaly cannot catch up to him. This guy fell off from Napoli. Anyone who joins Chelsea falls off, except for Conte. That guy's built different. But going back, yeah, Almiron making a run across. Koulibaly goes for the tackle, but Almiron gets a touch on it to get it further. Like, he gets away. And then it's Willock, where he runs into Willock. Both of these guys are crossing in, and Willock just whips it. First timer, absolute curler in behind Edouard Mendy. So what a goal that was. As I said, beautiful football. It's like all the players. For me, it's mainly Almiron, Guermes, and Trippier who stood out the most to me this game. But as I said, and Nick Pope, of course, in each position, like, you could say that. But not just in each position. Like, even if all of them were midfielders, the way they played just stood out to me the most. And then going back, as I said, the way the team plays was so beautiful. They played really well together. Let me just give me a second. Let me just get a tissue. Sorry. Sorry about that. As I said, I am a bit sick. But yeah, as I said, the way these guys plays, the tiki taka, they just pass it around really, really well, and they just dominated Chelsea very, very well, and I really like the way they played. So shout out to Newcastle, you could say, very, very good from Newcastle, who beats Chelsea. Chelsea in the mud. I think this is now the second loss, or not the second loss, like the fifth loss or something. The third loss under Gareth Southgate. No, I think it might be the second loss, but overall the fifth loss. Yeah, the fifth loss in the Premier League. So under Southgate, I think it's the second loss. I'm pretty sure, or it could be the third loss. Looking at, holy, this is very bad for Chelsea. Very, very bad. Very, very bad. Liverpool in the mud. Like, what the heck is this table, man? I thought with Liverpool, what happened to the Big Six, man? What happened to the Big Six? But Arsenal, on the other hand, winning their game against Wolves this weekend, winning 2-0. And just a quick summary of this game. Yeah, Martin Odegaard scoring his double. Going down, it was someone going down the wing. Cuts back to Martin Odegaard. The second goal, I think it was, I want to say it was Martinelli who got a shot. Yeah, I think it was Martinelli who got a shot on Jose Sa. Rebounded back, and then Odegaard with the banger finish. A powerful finish. Overall, yeah, it's just the usual, guys. I've explained it in the past. Arsenal, guys, they literally play the best football. Like they play really, really well together this semester. What am I saying? This is not school, man. This is not high school. This season, Arsenal are playing really, really well. And this game, they really, really did good. Really, really did good. I do think that Wolves did have a few good attacking opportunities. Gonzalo Guedes, the Portuguese striker, he had some really good shots, which unfortunately missed. But Arsenal ended up getting the shots in the back of the net, which was the one, which is what they needed to, of course, win the game. And now they have, because of Manchester City, we're gonna go look at Man City's game next. Because of them actually losing their game. That now puts Arsenal at the top of the league with a 5-point difference going into the winter, or going in, you could kind of say it's like a winter break. I know the winter break is not until a few more weeks, until December, until like, it's really not until like December, and that's only 2 weeks, or like 1 week long, and this one is like more of a World Cup break. But like going into any breaks near December, in the past 13 years, when teams got to the halfway points going into the winter break of the Premier League, there's usually a 1 or 2 week break for teams, of course for winter and for Christmas and stuff. So in the past 13 years, the teams who have topped the Premier League, the last 10 out of the 13 Premier League teams in the last 13 years, who have topped the Premier League going into the winter break, going into a break during the winter time, so in this scenario would be the World Cup, have went on to win the Premier League. So what I mean is, so if Arsenal, if Liverpool were to be leading the Premier League right now, then they would go on to win the Premier League afterwards. So that was only for the last like 10 out of the last 13 years. There are teams in the last 13 years. So Arsenal now, let's see if they can continue this on and be put in the 11 out of the 14 years. 11 teams out of the 14 years who top the group in like before the halfway of the Premier League, and then after it resumes, they go on to win it. So that's gonna be crazy. In the past, if you asked me a few weeks ago, if you asked anyone a few weeks ago, no one would expect Arsenal to do this good. No one would expect like Man City to be not really doing bad, but like doing worse than Arsenal. No one would expect Spurs to be up there doing better than Liverpool, Chelsea, and United. No one would expect Newcastle to be doing this good. So for like now, when I do think about it, I think this top four could be really random. This top four could be as you see it right now: Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, and Spurs. Imagine these four teams, these four Premier League teams in the Champions League, man. Like, what the heck? No Liverpool, no United, no Chelsea. That's gonna be crazy, man. That's gonna be crazy. And if I this is gonna be very 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 interesting if this was to be the final top four of the Premier League. If Brighton somehow finds their way up there, that's gonna be crazy as well. Um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, Brighton, they're doing pretty decent. I feel like they're doing better than Chelsea. I mean, but going back, like if any team, like maybe Fulham, who are like a lot of people hated on Fulham, they said, oh, they're gonna go back to Championship. But man, Mitrovic, the Serbian goat, carrying them. As I said, yeah, Brighton, man. Like Brighton, Fulham, Brentford with Ivan Toney, he's doing really good. Actually, they actually beat Man City this the last weekend as well, which we'll talk about after I talk about the Premier League. But yeah, as I said, if this top four like stays how it is, if somehow Brighton, Fulham, Brentford find their way in, like maybe United and Liverpool could find their way in as well, like find a way back in. But as I said, if it's this top four here, Spurs, Newcastle, Man City, and Arsenal, I'm telling you, next Champions League we could be seeing, and don't hate on next Champions League. I'm not saying these four teams are bad, that they're gonna be the next Champions League is gonna be very very easy. I'm actually saying the opposite. I'm saying next Champions League can be more open to lower tier teams, like I don't know, like let's say um like these, like who's in the Champions League right now? I don't know. UCL table. If we take a look, like the Ajax, Club Brugge, Porto, RB Salzburg, Dinamo Zagreb, Shakhtar. Yeah, I think it's gonna be more open, or more like more not open, more a level spread, like a even an even playing field for those lower tier teams like Porto, but or maybe Porto, not Porto, but like as I said, Ajax. Bro, we just took a look at them. RB Salzburg, Dinamo Zagreb, Shakhtar. I feel it's gonna be a more like, no hate to those teams. They're not bad, but when you compare them to Man City, to Madrid, to Bayern, to Paris Saint-Germain, then you can consider them bad. But like when you take a look at Newcastle, Arsenal, Spurs, they're not bad either. They're topping the Premier League, but in general we see them as lower tier teams compared to Man City, Bayern, and PSG. In the Premier League, we're still gonna see them as a lower tier team. That's why I say for those other teams I mentioned, it's gonna be a more of a even like playing field, even playing ground. So that's why I find it a bit more interesting for sure. But yeah, going back, as I said, yeah, Brentford could find their way. I feel like a lot of these top 10 teams could still find a way in. Maybe not top 10, but I feel if you're at like, I don't know, I really don't know, but yeah, it could go crazy. Like you really don't know. Like who expected Chelsea, Liverpool, and United? Like no one expected them here. So as I said, you can't really like expect anything. You can't really say anything. You can only predict. So prediction wise, I could see United finding their way in. I do not see Liverpool fighting for top four. I only see them fighting for top five for Europa League spots. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, this is what it is. Let's go ahead talk about that Man City game. I did not watch this one either, but pretty surprising that Man City actually lost their game, and I was actually really happy because you guys know I'm really really happy that that I really really want Arsenal to win. Arsenal, they literally remind me of the 02, was it 2002 or 2004? The Invincibles years, man. The Invincibles. I think it was the 02 Invincibles year. You had Vieira, Burkamp, what's his name? Thierry Henry, Pires. You had Pires. So that year was crazy. Of course, the undefeated year under what's his name? Forgot the manager. Forgot the manager. Yeah, I forgot the manager, but yeah, under him they were crazy, man. Let's go ahead and check Arsenal. Arsene Wenger, yeah, Arsene Wenger. I forgot. How can I forget his name? But yeah, under him, they were crazy. The Arsenal, of course, the Arsenal, the prime Arsenal, the undefeated Invincibles, and the way they play this year under Arteta really reminds me of them. The passion, man, the passion. But going to this game, Man City, guys, actually losing 2-1 to Brentford. Actually, in the last minute, literally in the last minute of the game, 98th minute, Ivan Toney scoring a banger, guys. Ivan Toney. As I said, I did not watch this game, so I don't know why I'm saying he scored a banger, but I mean, like, he scored an absolutely screamer by like scoring a goal to beat City in the last minute. It was just crazy. Erling Haaland fell off. As I said, guys, as I say, now no hate to Erling Haaland. I still don't hate Erling Haaland, but Kylian Mbappe is still the better player. Now, if you asked me a few years ago, you can say like, oh, Mbappe as a striker, Haaland is a better player. As a striker, you know how I always say Mbappe is more like Messi and Haaland is more like Ronaldo. If you were to ask me in 2020, even 2021, like last year, maybe 2 years ago, you can say Mbappe was more like a Ronaldo. Haaland was more like a Ronaldo. But this year, maybe a bit last year as well, Mbappe is turning more into a kind of like a overall, like a well-rounded, like a overall player, someone who dribbles, passes, a well overall, like kind of like a Messi, where he dribbles, drops backs, opens space for his team. That's what he's coming into. Not really a striker like Ronaldo or like Haaland. Not like a pure striker. He's trying to become more like that side player, someone who like a creative player like Neymar and Messi, and like that's what he's trying to become like. So that's why I still say Mbappe is kind of like Messi, and Haaland is kind of like Ronaldo. That's why I kind of say it. Otherwise, if you asked a few years ago, you have to say Mbappe was more like a Ronaldo for sure, and is more like Ronaldo than Haaland is for sure. You can say Haaland is like a Suarez. Honestly, Haaland is like a Luis Suarez. But going back here, Haaland did fall off. Like, where is he, man? I haven't seen him in quite a while. And then Brentford go on to lose this game, and I think Brentford actually played really good football. If we look statistically wise, they did really lose possession a lot. Holy, 30 shots, 6 shots, and they can't win. But going back, as I said, the real reason why I said they played good football is because for the amount of time they had the ball for, they played it really wisely. 10 shots, 8 shots on target. Holy, they have some good aim. 25% possession. Overall, yeah, they kind of got over dominated, but the reason why I said they played good football is, once again, for the time they had, for the amount of time they had the ball, they had possession of the ball, they played really well. So props to Arsenal, or props to Brentford. Spurs actually winning their game as well. They had a really, really good game as well. What's his name? Bentancur, man. This guy is crazy. He popped off last week, or 2 weeks ago. He popped off last week as well. Harry Kane, 25th minute. I did not quite recall. I think, yeah, all I know is Bentancur. This guy's a legend. I can't exactly explain to you like the goals and like how they played and stuff, but like trying to push my memory, this guy had some really, really good ball moves. I think like, yeah, one of them, I don't quite recall like I'm trying to remember one of the goals. As I said, like I could have watched the highlights before I recorded it, before I recorded this podcast, but overall, yeah, nothing to really say other than Bentancur like popping off the Uruguayan. And did he get called up? I'm not quite sure if he got called up to the World Cup. We'll take a look at that tomorrow on tomorrow's pre-World Cup episode. But yeah, other than that, for Spurs, he's doing really good. Liverpool go on to win their game 3-1. United ending off their season 2-1 here. Garancho, this guy, the Argentinian, I don't think he got called up to the World Cup for Argentina, but this guy for United is a baller, man. This guy is literally a baller. I think he's quite young as well. How old is Garancho? 18 years old. Yeah, he's very young as well. Baller for United. This guy is crazy. The passion. He actually has passion, man. And let's talk about. Actually, no, we won't talk about it yet. But yeah, that is the Premier League there for you. Going to the La Liga. Do I really want to talk about the La Liga? Barcelona win their game against Osasuna. Real Madrid beat Cadiz 2-1. Toni Kroos scoring a really good outside box shot as well. Banger from Toni Kroos there. Of course, Eder Militao off of the set piece off of the corner kick. But yeah, nothing really I wanted to talk about here. But yeah, Barcelona. As I said, all you Madrid fans, you guys thought like oh, Barcelona mudded still, no Champions League, they're still gonna suck and stuff. But look at this, Barcelona ending off at the halfway of the not really halfway, but ending off at the break of the La Liga with a 2-point lead. So crazy there. Just gonna mute my mic real quick and do like a cough. Yeah, sorry about that. As I said, I'm a bit sick, still a bit sick. Still have some sore throat and some runny nose or sinus stuff. But yeah, guys, going to the Paris Saint-Germain, the Ligue 1. Ici c'est Paris. Still have the Parisian in me, but going here, ending off the PSG season at the top of the league with a 5-point difference, same as Arsenal. PSG and Auxerre. I know they're Auxerre, not a good team either. I think they're at the bottom of the league. Yeah, they're at 17th place in relegation. So this game, I don't know. Can we really say we played well? We kind of we didn't really. I don't know. For me, it's like yes, we won and stuff, but like I can't really like say like I take the win. We played good, but I like to, when I do these podcasts, I like to make like I like to analyze the teams and say like, oh, what improvements do we need to make and who did good. But from this game, man, it was just too easy that you can't really say that. We'll just talk about the goals and like the players. Mbappe, of course, in the 11th minute, assisted by Nunes. Nunes, guys, the one player I can analyze here is Nuno Mendes, guys. This guy, as I said, this guy is a key player. Him and Hakimi. We need these two fullbacks. If we don't have them, if we have what's his name? Man, I forgot the name of our own players. We just signed him this season. From RB Leipzig. Oh my goodness. How do I forget the name? Mukiele, man. Mukiele. If we have Mukiele at right back and Juan Bernat at left back, we are screwed. But when we have Nuno Mendes and Hakimi as our fullbacks, these guys are so good in our offensive play that like it's unbelievable, guys. And the first goal, like not just the first goals, both goals. Hakimi scores a goal. Nuno Mendes getting 2 assists as well on the first 2 goals. Nuno Mendes gets both assists. The first goal is Nuno Mendes making the run down here. He like chips it backwards. No, he didn't really chip it back. Yeah, it was actually he made the run. Messi, I think it was Messi who chips it over, who lobs it over, and then Nuno Mendes getting a really good a soft touch on it back to Mbappe. Mbappe striking it in. That was the first goal. The second goal was actually this beautiful fighting passion, beautiful dribbling by Nuno Mendes, where he actually loses the ball over here, and then he has his physicality. He gets the ball back. He does some fake shots to go left, right, goes all the way to the end of the line. He does like a kind of like with his left foot, I think it was. He does like he tries to cross. It does like a little chip cross in, and then it's Carlos Soler. He goes far post header, so very nice. It's just that run by Nuno Mendes, the passion that kept Nuno Mendes in was really good. The run up that led up to this Carlos Soler goal by Nuno Mendes was brilliant, and that's why I love Nuno Mendes so much. We then have this Achraf Hakimi goal. I think it was assisted by Neymar dos Santos Jr., the Brazilian legend who are gonna go win the World Cup. But yeah, I think it was Neymar who did the brilliant through ball to Hakimi. Hakimi trying to play with the keeper a bit, and then like he secures it in. At first, like I thought, like, oh, you're gonna pass it to Mbappe, right? Because of course Mbappe's ego No hate against his ego, but like you guys already know, like everything is like based around Mbappe. But then Hakimi was like, nah, I'm gonna secure it myself, and Mbappe was fine with that. He already had his goal. Ronaldo Sanchez goal. This one is a bit of an awkward one. Now, another player we can really analyze this game. I'd like to analyze this game, or I was able to analyze this game. I did say like, oh, it's hard to analyze players because of how easy it was. Like, can you really like judge them? But one player I can judge from this game, Ronaldo Sanchez. Now, I've said in the past, Ronaldo Sanchez sometimes a fraud, doesn't really know what to do defensively. But I feel like offensively, he's better offensively than he is defensively for us, and that's what I really like. Is not what I like. I think we need more of a defensive player, but his presence is still enough. Like he still has a big presence. Like he's still a passing opportunity. He made a brilliant run in behind. Not the best finish, but then it goes to Hugo Ekitike, who tries to go around the keeper. Like getting a touch on it. Passes it back to Ekitike. Passes it back to what's his name? To Ronaldo Sanchez, and Ronaldo Sanchez going far post, hitting the post and in the back of the net. So beautiful goal there. And then Ekitike finally getting his debut goal, just getting a touch on the ball, getting like just a simple touch on the ball, getting it in the back of the net. And Ekitike gets his debut goal. So beautiful that Ekitike, I think he's 18 or 19 years old, from Stade Reims. Stade Reims, one of their best players last season. We bought him for a reason. He's young. He's passionate. Actually no, this was not the touch. He actually had some passion where he went up to the defender. He got the ball back and then shot a near post. So brilliance there by he has passion to pressure onto the defense, get the ball back, which he did, and then get a nice goal in the back of the net. So good to see him getting his debut goal. It wasn't his first game for PSG, but debut goal as in his first goal for PSG. So beautiful there. And PSG ending off with 41 points, 5-point difference on the top of the league, a 5-point difference with Lens at 36 points. So yeah, beautiful there in the Ligue 1. But yeah, guys, as I said, this episode will be a bit shorter. Let's go ahead and talk about the Cristiano Ronaldo news. Ended off with a bit of a quick look at the World Cup and a photo, of course. Tomorrow is going to be more of a main World Cup episode. Today is just a quick look at the World Cup once again. But let me just like cough one more time. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is basically a quick overview of the Piers Morgan and Cristiano Ronaldo interview. So it started off with he loves the club. The management betrayed him. Even after even after he tells them about his daughter, he skipped preseason battling his daughter. Was battling his life. And of course his son passed away. Ten Hag knew this but still discussed him, called out Glazers directly, says the club hasn't progressed in a bit in the last 10 years, and they disrespect Ten Hag and Wayne Rooney, and the fans just skip all this part and go straight to this. So it's quite crazy like how fans say, oh, you hate Rooney and Ten Hag, get out. Now it is 100% like clear that United do not want him anymore. And to be fair, Ronaldo asked to leave the club, or Ronaldo wanted to leave the club in the summer. United and Ten Hag rejected, saying, "Oh, we need you," and he's on the bench. So I think Ronaldo has the 100% right to say everything he said on the Piers Morgan podcast, or not really the podcast, the Piers Morgan interview. So make sure you go watch that interview. It was crazy, guys. It was crazy, crazy like drama going on. And I think he should leave. He should never play for that club, or not like that. I didn't mean it like that, but I mean like he should never play for a club who do not respect him. I think if you asked me, if you said like like man, if imagine if Sir Alex Ferguson, imagine if Saf was still at United, United would actually be winning. But in the last 10 years, he was so true that United have literally become shitty. Okay, sorry about that. Literally have become shizier every year. Every year, year after year after year, they become worse, worse, and worse. It's like there's no improvement at Manchester United since Sir Alex Ferguson left. Since Ronaldo left in the last 13 years, there has been no improvement. You kick out 5 managers. You kick Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and you bring in a sporting director that nobody knows, that absolutely nobody knows. It's just crazy bizarre. Now, one thing I really, really liked that Cristiano Ronaldo said was actually players that he really enjoyed at Manchester United, and one player he mentioned was actually Diogo Dalot, and I really, really love Dalot, man. Dalot is crazy. Dalot's only like 23 years old. Bro, not Dalot. Okay, Diogo Dalot age. 23, yeah, he's 23 years old. This guy is a class. He's a class bowler at right back for Manchester United. Him, Garancho, these guys are passionate. When you look at a youngster that we thought would be passionate and a world-class player like Sancho and what's the name? Rashford, we thought these two guys would be the next big stars. No, but Dalot and Garancho, these guys have passion. These guys are built different. And the reason why I say like, oh, we thought these two, the reason I'm really saying these guys have more passion than Sancho and Rashford is because what Ronaldo said is Ronaldo said that the young players this year take it easier than like they have it easier. They play football easier. Maybe not Mbappe. These guys are still world class. These guys still have a lot to go through. But like for someone like Rancho, I feel like for sure like these guys are having it easy. They for sure have it way easier for sure. For them to go pro is way easier. Now it's still very difficult to go pro, but like for like in this era compared to last era, it's way easier to go pro. Last era you have Kaká, Maldini, you have to worry about Maldini, Cafu, Roberto Carlos. You had all these world class players. Yes, there's still world class players like Kevin De Bruyne, Luka Modric, Lionel Messi, Benzema, Ferland Mendy. Like you have all these big players, but compared to those back then players were literally something else. And one player back then, during my sickness, I watched the Luis Figo documentary, guys. Luis Figo, man, this guy was something else. After watching that documentary, honestly, Figo might be better than R9 on a club wise. Yes, he didn't do anything much for Portugal. He didn't do much in the World Cup, but for club level, this guy back then was him, man. He was him. He actually joined Real Madrid. This was quite a surprising story wherein he was playing for Barcelona, of course, the star of Barcelona with Pep Guardiola. That duo was insane. And then, guys, in 02, I think it was. If you guys don't know, Barcelona and Real Madrid, they're not really. I don't think they're owned by a club. At least back then, they weren't really owned by one person. They were more owned by the fans. It was like the supporters when they bought the tickets and stuff. That would bring in the money to the club. I think there was some money coming in by one owner, but overall, it was more of a organization. Like, and then every like few years, they would vote for a president, and that president would run the club for a few amount of years. And it was in 2002 where Florentino Perez, Papi Perez, ran for president and said, "I want Luis Figo to come to Real Madrid from Barcelona to Real Madrid, for me to become president. Otherwise, I don't want to become president." He made the deal. Figo made history at. I guess it's kind of he betrayed. He made history. I think one of the most expensive signings in history back then. One of the most craziest controversial signings. He made history in Madrid. Of course, he won a lot of trophies with Madrid because he was a star player. And Florentino Perez, with that, like it all started because of Figo. The Perez Sega started because of Figo, man. So it's just crazy that after I watched that documentary, like Figo has become something else for me. But yeah, going back, yeah. As I was saying, yeah, back then you had these players like Figo and stuff. Like when you compare Figo, Figo's like youngster, like Figo's young, like Figo's like beginning of his career compared to Garancho. Figo is way better back then, and the players he had to play against and with is just something else. Now you're playing like it's a different story for sure. And like yeah, so there was a lot of stuff he said. As I said about the youngsters, he said the stuff about the youngsters, um, about the club for sure, like not respecting, making some very bad decisions. The fans, he said a lot. He said he loves the fans, he loves the clubs, but it's like they still don't. They didn't respect him when his daughter was like when his daughter like especially the club didn't really they 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 didn't really like respect him. They didn't really understand him when his daughter was sick and his son died. It's like how is that even possible, man? Like his daughter, like when he had Sir Alex Ferguson, when his dad died, he was okay like to let him go because family is first. But nowadays, after Saf is gone, now when his daughter, when his son dies, they don't care. They just want him to play. Like, man, these guys are crazy. They are crazy. But sorry about this. Let me just check something. My mom is calling. My mom is texting me. Sorry about this. All right, sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. But where was I? Where was I? Yeah, as I said, they didn't understand like family first, and they said like, "Oh, we need you to play." Who cares about your family? So that's very disrespectful. As I said, like there's so many other things he said. This was just like the main stuff. Like I just saw this picture. The main stuff. Like I guess the summary, some of the stuff I wanted to talk about. This I found this picture funny. Like oh, all of this stuff they went straight here instead. They only care about Rooney. They only care about their past, Rooney. Um, they don't care about Ronaldo. So it's just the disrespect United have on Ronaldo is crazy. So yeah, crazy there. But yeah, that's gonna end off the episode. Let's just talk about the World Cup real quick, with a few scenarios. So yeah, Netherlands, Senegal, guys. Senegal. Apparently, I know my cousin last week said Mane was actually gonna come back from recovery, but unfortunately, that was actually incorrect. And Mane, unfortunately, will no longer be recovered. I still think Senegal will get second. I'm not quite sure if Ecuador is a strong team or not. But yeah, Senegal second. In group tomorrow we're gonna talk. I'm gonna do this again. It might be the same tomorrow. Maybe it might be different, but it's gonna be with. Hopefully we can get it with a guest. But tomorrow I want to talk more about in depth about this as well. Today is just like a quick summary. I think here England first. I really think Wales second, USA or Iran third, and USA fourth. Iran has never made it out of the group stages yet. Um, and with the revolution going on in Iran, I don't think that's gonna help it anymore. Especially with Iran, they haven't really said anything. Like they haven't really showed a sign of respect against the government. They haven't really showed anything to be against the government and with the people. The Zan Zendegi Azadi stuff, like the freedom of the people, the freedom of the rights for the women and for the men. Uh, yeah, what I said there meant women, freedom. Um, no, it meant woman, life, freedom. I was thinking like woman, life, or woman, freedom. What is the Azadi? But Azadi means like freedom. So woman, life, freedom. That's what I said. So that's kind of like the hashtags. That's one of the thousands of hashtags going on in the Iran Revolution, and it's going really good right now. There's this 3-day event going on in Iran, and it's going really good. Like the government is being scared, but I'm not here to talk about the government. I'm talking because of that situation. Like Iran, the Team Melli, the Iran national team, they have not shown like anything to be with the people and against the government, and because of that, the fans are not like happy about the national team, and there's like that could affect like Iran for sure. And I think Wales have a strong team. I think USA will be last still. But as I said, we're going to talk more about this tomorrow. Argentina here for sure. Poland, Mexico, Saudi Arabia. Here, I'm going to go France second for sure. I think Denmark have a really strong chance. And then Austria, Tunisia. Now here, Germany, I might say Japan, Spain. As I said, Spain, I'm really worried because yes, they have this really connection in the team. But they have too many young players, and then they have all of a sudden too many old players. So it's like you don't really have any mid-tier players, and I feel like there's a few other players that could have been called up for sure. Over here, I think Croatia gonna top. I really think Canada is gonna be a group that's gonna come out of the group. I think Belgium is gonna flop. I think Canada is gonna surprise a lot of teams, a lot of people, millions of people around the world will be billions of people are going to be surprised about Canada being out. Now, yes, Canada might go out, but when you have Germany next, I don't think they'll beat I don't think they'll go through the round of 16. But to get out of the group stage after qualifying for 36 years is huge for Canada. So that's still quite crazy. Even if you to get out of this group is going to be crazy enough. Who cares if we don't qualify after the round of 16? To get out of that group is crazy enough. Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, this is already said. Portugal, Uruguay. And I'm very, very excited to see Uruguay actually. Uruguay is going to be crazy. And to see Brazil, Uruguay, because Uruguay gets second and Brazil first, to see this Brazil-Uruguay matchup, this is going to be crazy. Now going to the matchups, I think Netherlands for sure win here. I think France just don't click. I think Argentina, I think England here. And then Denmark will easily win here. Germany, I think Brazil, Uruguay. It's going to be a very, very crazy game. But I think Uruguay will make it challenging, but Brazil should be able to win. Croatia, Japan, I think you could say Japan, man. They have some passion, but nah, you have to say Croatia win. Portugal, Serbia, yet again. I think Portugal have to win. Argentina win here. Brazil, I think over here, Denmark easily win, and then Portugal. And then over here, I think Brazil are just the stronger team. Brazil. Now here is difficult. I don't see any of these teams in the finals, but I don't know. You know how there's always that passion team. In 2018, it was who was it in 2018? It was Croatia, of course, the passion team. I say it in the Champions League every year. There's a passion team. Last year it was who was it last year? It was Villarreal. Last year, 2 years ago, it was Porto. This year it's Benfica. 2018-19 it was Ajax. In the World Cup you kind of have that as well. 2018 it was Croatia. Who was it in 2014? You could say it was or 2018 is Croatia. 2014 you could say it was like Japan did decent that year. Actually, what? Let me see. 2014 World Cup. USA. Do we want to give it to USA? Costa Rica, man. Costa Rica. Japan did not do good. They didn't even qualify, did they? Or what am I saying? Japan did good. Throwing them here. I'm out here throwing. I don't know. Who was really the passion team this year? USA? Was it USA? I think it was USA because they also beat the group. They also beat the bracket of what is it? Like 2014 groups. They actually beat like Portugal in this group as well, didn't they? Take a look here. Images. It doesn't want to show the group, but yeah, it's actually England or USA. You could say it was USA. Maybe Cameroon back or Ghana. I think it was Cameroon back in 2010. So like every year there's that passion team. I think this year might be Denmark. But like, man, Portugal are stronger, but I still don't see Portugal in the final. So let's just say Denmark, and then even if it is Portugal in the final, I think Brazil still beat Portugal. I don't see Ronaldo taking it home. Ronaldo will go through the pain of losing a World Cup just like Lionel Messi. I don't think he will win his last and 5th World Cup. But like, I don't know, like, there is some questionable stuff here for sure. As I said, tomorrow is going to be the second World Cup, pre-World Cup episode. And then on Sunday, the World Cup officially starts. And then we're going to be having every 2 or 3 days, we're going to be having talks, World Cup talk episodes. So stay tuned for that for sure. Stay tuned for tomorrow. We're going to talk more in depth about the World Cup, about this table and stuff. And like, it's a, like, the reason I really say, I know Argentina and Portugal, a lot of people, Lionel Messi, last World Cup, he needs to win. Ronaldo's last World Cup, he needs to win. I know, like, all of that and stuff, but I think it's just on paper-wise, not even on paper, player-wise, Brazil are just the better team, and it's just the way that they, like, just the path they lead up. Even if you want to say Croatia win here, and then Croatia go to the final back-to-back, Brazil still win. So either way, Brazil are going to win. Either, whatever you say, Brazil win. I even think you could say Argentina win here. Oh my, imagine Argentina. Oh my, this could be crazy, man. This could be crazy. The World Cup is always crazy. You never know. But I think for me, it just all leads up to Brazil. Let's end it off with a quick football as well, guys. Today,
fall means falling prices on fifth wheels at FLOWWWW RV.
Sorry about that. There's ads now, man. I've been scammed with ads. Copyrights. But let's talk. We talked about Ronaldo, not a Premier League player. We talked about, of course, PSG Noon Menge. We did not talk about the Ligue 1, but we'll do like, oh, we talked about Toni Kroos scoring a banger. Nothing there. Gravenberch. I don't know why Gravenberch really. Vlahovic, Serie A player, Dybala. We go to Dybala. We go to Tomori, not an AC Milan player. Holy, what is it gonna be? Skriniar. Okay, so it is Milinkovic, or not Milinkovic. What's his name? What's his name, man? What's his name? There's someone in the midfield. Let's do Martinez. Lautaro Martinez. It's not a striker. What am I doing? Is it a midfielder? Not a midfielder. Gosens. I know Gosens. There's not German either. What am I doing? I'm throwing 2 more guesses. Who could it be? Who do they have? I don't know like any of them. Bastoni is not a center back. Barella, he's a midfielder, but let's see if it's like, it's not even Italian. Let's just go ahead and guess Benzema. Who's this? Handanovic, the keeper, man, the keeper. I was trying to think of the keeper. I forgot who it was, but yeah, guys, that's gonna end off the podcast. If you guys enjoyed today's podcast, hit that like button, that subscribe button. Sorry about the pauses since I was sick. Sorry I couldn't really talk a lot. Sorry about the voice and stuff. I'm still a bit sick, but yeah, as I said, tomorrow I'm still hoping to do another podcast. Hoping to be better tomorrow. Hoping to get 2 guests on the pod, or at least 1 guest on the podcast. They still haven't responded after 1 hour. Sad face, but yeah, hoping we can get at least another person on. As I said, tomorrow World Cup, a second World Cup podcast episode, a pre-World Cup podcast episode, and then the World Cup starts. For now, stay positive, stay happy, stay flow, and I'll see you later. Peace.